What's up today, guys? So I'm installing some mud flaps on the 73 F-100. My grandpa put on these semi-truck mud flaps. He cut them to fit in the back. That's the original DaGama Customs back in 1973, 74, whenever he put these on. And I'm gonna put these vintage Napa mud flaps on. They look cool. I know this isn't a highboy, but when I see a highboy with the mud flaps, I do think it's cool. I already took the shocks off the back. We ordered more Monroe Magnums. Those are in the mail. We decided these springs are a little sagged out under here, so we're gonna put new OEM springs just to lift the back a little bit. It's pretty level all in all with the leveling kit in the front, which you definitely saw on part 1. So leveling kit's all in. It's pretty level. It's just a little bit higher in the front. It's got a tiny bit of lean.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
We measured it. We know that's there. That's not acceptable. We're not from North Carolina. So over here in New York, you gotta have these things level or leaning forward, but we're going for level. So we're gonna put the OEM springs because these ones are just a little sagged out, like I said. So we'll get into the mud flap. Might get a new radio. It only has the AM radio. It's kind of useless nowadays. At a minimum, we need FM, maybe an aftermarket radio that looks OEM. I've seen those before. I might look into one of those for the interior just to make it a little more enjoyable when you're driving. You can listen to some tunes. So that's what we're doing for this video, and we'll get right into it with mud flap. We'll get these off. I'm wearing safety glasses because you can't hear and get right into it. There's a couple bolts down here I got to cut off. I just don't feel like taking them off with a wrench.
Next.
There you go. That was pretty dramatic. Now we'll start making the new brackets. We'll get these cut out of this metal. I have a little bit of angle iron, which is enough for the 2 mud flaps. I got this piece to bridge the gap from the middle. And then I also have this to make some 90-degree pieces off of this that I can weld to it in case I need to make a bracket to mount it different. We're gonna mount it in the same place. We like about the distance from the tires and the bumper of where it was sitting. So we're gonna mount it very close to where it was. Squared up this end in the bandsaw. I got this end lined up. I got my mark on this side of the line. So I got that all set up, and we'll get this end cut for this one mud flap. Just cut these. I squared the ends off, cut them in the bandsaw. You just watched that in the video. I'll edit it ahead. These big pieces of angle iron, the thicker stuff, holds the mud flaps. There's one for each side, and then there's a piece of smaller angle iron that I'm gonna weld in the middle. I just didn't have a long enough piece of this angle iron at the house. No big deal. We're gonna put this in the middle. Don't really need anything strong, but they need to be together the way we're mounting it, because there's just 2 bolts going in the frame. So we'll get that done, and we'll get to welding right now. All right, here's the new bracket to hold them. One mud flap goes on this piece of angle iron, one goes on the other piece, and then this gets bolted up under there. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna weld some tabs on to hold it to the frame. You all have to measure that, obviously, but once we get that figured out, this will go right in, right back where it was.
Go.
Here's the mud flap bracket. It's all welded up. I got these tabs to hold it from going this way, left and right, and it's all set. Mud flaps bolt right here. I'll get it painted and we'll put it in. What's up? I'm back again. I just got these mud flaps installed. I won't give you a full look yet because I'm going to get the rest of the truck done before I do the full reveal. So that's a little sneak peek. Those are all installed. They're bolted in with the same bracket I made, last week. Just haven't had time to work on it. So we're back out here again working on it. And then as far as the rear suspension goes, we're going to be replacing this leaf pack with another OEM equivalent leaf pack. It's actually an OEM leaf pack out of the F-250 Super Cab that you probably see a lot on my channel and on TikTok and Instagram. So we have the original leaf springs out of that aren't sagged out. These are a little sagged out. The bottom helper spring's a little bent. They have a little curvature. I don't know if you can quite see it from the camera. I'll try to show you. It's right over there. It's not a big deal, but back's sitting a little bit lower than it should be. It's about half an inch off a level, which it's a half inch lower in the back, so it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable at all around here. That's a South Carolina thing. It's not a New York thing, and it's definitely not a DaGama Customs thing. So we got to get this swapped out with the other OEM leaf pack. It's a little thicker. It's the same thickness from here. The springs themselves are a little thicker. It's the same quantity of springs. Everything's going to be perfect. It's going to work out just fine. Just a little extra stuff we have to do. And then in a month or so, once the weather warms up, we get outside. Got to scrape all this Z-bar off the frame, get everything absolutely pristine under the bottom of the cab back of the truck. Cab forward is perfect. Cab back has got to be done. So get right to it. We'll get this wheel on. I'll put the last one on the driver's side on by myself, and then we'll do a full reveal of the truck of how it is now before we scrape the frame in the back in a month or so. We'll be doing the springs probably, it might be the next video, it might be 2 videos from now, but you'll see that real soon. That'll be the next part of the video. I've got to say, this is probably the nicest all original dent side on the internet with 40,000 original miles. 73 F-100, 4-wheel drive, original engine, original transmission. Just painted the frame, got the wheels painted. You guys seen all that. Painted the bumper, put on some new mud flaps. But other than that, the bodywork, paintwork, seats, everything about this truck is original. So that is freaking awesome. Other than the wheels being repainted, but who cares? They're just white wheels. Make the wheels look nice, makes the truck look a whole much nicer. All right, ready for the grand reveal of how it is now before we do the last couple things when the weather warms up? And here we go. A really nice truck to drive. I mean, just look at it. It's pretty. Cleaning up the shop now. Made a big mess working on all this stuff. So now it's time to clean up a little bit. And then we'll be getting that spring in, cleaning up the back of the frame, cab back, and that gasket and it'll be done, ready to drive around, go to shows, and have a bunch of fun with. Maybe you guys will be able to see it at some of the shows when we travel, or in New York if you're also in New York. So there you go. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. If you want any parts or pieces for a 4-wheel drive F-250 or F-350 to make it pretty, go to DaGamaCustoms.com. I have shock plates with overlays. They're kind of like the coil plates for the newer trucks.
Nice.
There's not many left in stock, so go quick. There's only a couple last time I checked. They may not be available if you don't act quick. And then I might be designing more parts, traction bar brackets for newer trucks, possibly universal, depending on how they fit and what they're made out of. And then steering stabilizers for Fords, for dent sides. And then I might also be making F-150 parts really soon. That's a great possibility. And then I also need to start making parts for the 2-wheel drive trucks. So those will be coming soon. But get the shock plates with the overlay while you can, and keep an eye out for other parts on the website. I'll see you around in the next video.